again. We have had a fantastic journey so far, diving deep into the world of AI. We have heard a lot about its potential, and now we are shifting our focus to an equally important topic, using AI tools wisely. I want to share a thought from someone many of you admire, who studied right here in India, and alumnus of IIT Kharagpur, Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google and Alphabet. He once said, "The speed of AI innovation is rapid. We must ensure that AI development is done responsibly." This powerful statement perfectly sets the stage for our discussion. Imagine you are on your phone, scrolling through social media, and suddenly you see an advertisement for exactly that pair of shoes you were thinking about buying. It feels like magic, right? Well, that magic is often powered by something called artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is everywhere now, from helping us find the fastest route on Google Maps to the smart systems in cars that recognize your voice commands for music or smoothly guide you through heavy traffic. It's truly changing our world at a faster pace. But as Sundar Pichai highlights, silence please. With all this amazing power comes a very important question. How do we make sure we use AI wisely and for the good of everyone? Today we have with us a truly remarkable speaker, Mr. Biswajit Bhattacharya, partner and automotive industry leader at IBM for India and South Asia. With over 25 years of experience, Mr. Biswajit helped many leaders and businesses globally use new technologies to grow and innovate, and he actively guides industry initiatives at the national level. What truly makes Mr. Bhattacharya stand out is his clear focus on the ethical side of technology. He doesn't just talk about what AI can do, but more importantly, what it should do, emphasizing smart and long-lasting ways to use it. IBM always believed technology should help people, not harm them. It has a strong idea that AI should make our lives better, fairer, and respect our privacy. Mr. Bhattacharya shares this exact same belief. As a leader in the automotive industry at IBM, he actively works and guides leaders and businesses to make sure new technologies in automobiles are not just cool and fast, but also super safe, reliable, and helpful for everyone who uses them. Today, Mr. Bhattacharya will talk to us about using AI responsibly for all our futures. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Mr. Biswajit Bhattacharya. Over to you, sir.
Hello, good morning everyone. Good morning. Thank you. So let's start with a quick quiz. In last 1 month, how many of you have used ChatGPT or any AI tool? Please raise your hands. Good. Keep your hand raising. If while you're using, have you wondered, are you using it in the right way? Those of you who actually wondered about it, just keep your hand raising. Good to see a couple of hands. So that's going to be our discussion point today. So the next 1 hour or so, we'll be talking about how to use AI in our everyday life. And ma'am, thank you for a very nice introduction. I am Biswajit Bhattacharya, and I have been working with clients in automotive industry in India and abroad, helping them to reimagine the future. But today I'm here more to really interact with you. The power, I truly believe in the power of the young minds like you. And that's the reason I'm here today in the North Cap University and wanted to interact with you and talk about the things which make sense for all of us. See, as we move into the future, one thing which is very clear is the paradigm shift is going to be a constant feature. I started my career, or maybe at you guys are starting your education journey in college now. I did it probably around 35 years back, at the same stage, and wondering what to do in my life at that point of time. Now, in that last 35 years, a lot of things have changed. One thing which is very clear is the change in the last 35 years, the amount of change which has happened in the next 5 years, that pace is going to be much higher. That's interesting. It's not scary. It's something which is interesting, and that's where the whole point comes in, is learning has to be a continuous process, and it needs to be lot more driven by individual. I'm a 55-year-old person. I am still learning, and that's something which is needed, not just as I love learning. I need to constantly upgrade myself about the way the technology, I work in the field of technology, so how the technology is evolving, how the technology is shaping the industries, and how it's going to shape the industries in future. That's a continuous process which will be, I need to do it myself, and that's what I'll start with. So, congratulations first of all, you have entered a new phase of your life, which is this college. The way of learning, so far the way you have done it in schools is going to change. You are in schools, all of you in your class have studied the same subjects, but now you have chosen your specialized field, whether it's science, technology, or humanities, or business, or design, or anything. Okay, it's your specialization you have chosen. The professors are going to guide you, but the onus of learning is on you. That's one major change which has happened in your life, and that's the change which is going to continue as you get into your career journey. All I can say is the future is going to be interesting as long as you are keeping abreast with the surroundings. You are keeping abreast with whatever is happening in and around you. But having said that, one thing which you must also realize is, apart from the studying in colleges, whatever subjects you have chosen, this is probably the most interesting time of your life. Ask me or your professors or even your parents. The one part of our life which we have cherished is this period, the college life. This is where you learn new things, but at the same time you develop new friendships. A very different level of friendships than probably what you had in your school days. You will be developing your character building will start or will start getting mature now. You will define yourself as you move forward. So, as I said, congratulations and welcome to this new life of yours, new phase of yours. But having said that, enjoy and take pride in whatever you have achieved so far. and ensure that you get the best out of every facet as you enter into this particular phase. Now, as I said, we'll be talking about how AI is to be used diligently. I think as ma'am was introducing the topic, she talked about as you scroll your phone, a lot of recommendation do come in. I'm sure all of you have been purchasing products in Amazon, okay? And I'm sure all of you have seen how Amazon recommend you certain product to buy based on your profile, based on your purchases, what you have done in Amazon, or the product what you have purchased, or your peers, whatever has been doing, so based on multiple parameters, you get recommendation. And when in industry there is a term called Amazon experience, because the better recommendation Amazon is able to give you, there is a better chance of you are buying an additional product along with whatever you actually started with. So that's what is AI, and AI is powering that Amazon. Now, having said that, there is always a thought that while we are getting into this digital journey, are we leaving too much of our digital footprint over there? And that's a question which bothers everyone. I'm sure you also have faced a similar question. Now, Amazon is using it in probably is helping you to buy a product which most likely you'll enjoy, you'll need. But there are malicious characters also. They often use it in a wrong way, right? And I'm sure all of us have received calls from various scammers and digital arrest and a lot of those news items. I'm sure all of you have seen that. So those are the issues which also goes along with that. And that's one of the reason the right use of AI is something which is very critical. I'll give you a very interesting data point. There are agencies which track security incidents around the world. I mean, any security breach do happen. I mean, a lot of times our computer gets hacked. A lot of times the business, their particular application may get hacked, and there are ransom asks from the business, or even from an individual standpoint. Those digital arrests are also kind of part of it. There are issues. Now, earlier we used to get phone calls and mails, which we never really bothered, because it was very clear that these are not something which is something which I'll be looking for, or I'll be looking, I'm interested in. So we have ignored it very easily. Now the scammers are leveraging this technology, the same technology, and make you believe that this is something which is made for you and something which is real, and we end up getting into that trap. So CERT is one of those agencies who track all these incidents, security incidents, which actually has happened, which happens across the world. In India also we have a entity for CERT. Now, as per them, the data shows since the release of the public version of ChatGPT, the security incident has become around 10x. There is no real correlation in it, but that's what the data shows. And that's the point where actually I will start with, and that's the reason actually I asked all of you whether I know that all of you have been using a lot of tools which are AI tools, but are we using it in the right way? I started with the negative side of it. The other part of that question of are we using it in the right way is, see, if I am looking at certain answers, okay, or are we kind of using it from an ethical perspective? There are issues in terms of, especially among the students. Okay, there are a lot of we are using it for doing our homework. Okay, which is something where we are supposed to study, and do our homework or whatever exam, etc., which we are supposed to be doing. But instead of that, we have been using certain AI tools like that. That's not the ethical way of doing it. But instead, I am actually want to go deep. I mean, let's say I'm studying mathematics or physics in today. There are some concepts which I have understood in my class. Now I want to go deep. And that's where probably you don't have a textbook available today. In our time, we had to rush to the library, look for those books. It used to be a time-consuming, a lot of effort used to go in that. And because of that, probably many of us have avoided doing that. Okay, I'm not one who had probably done too much about it, frankly. Now, with all this AI tool available with you, and most likely in your phone itself, you can very easily go into it and get that answer immediately. So that's the right use of AI. But if you are using it for doing something which you are supposed to be doing, that's a wrong use of AI. Okay. So when we talk about how to really get the benefit of this technology, we should look at what are the benefit I can get out of the technology, as well as what are the pitfalls which may happen, which I need to have a guardrail against it. So that's the two broad aspects I wanted to start with. But before I go into the next part of my speech today, let me take you to the industry side of it and give you some view how industry is really using AI. From that standpoint, let me give you an example which probably all of us understand better. Instead of going into the factory or those boring process, let's talk about cars. I think most of you are born probably somewhere around 2010, 8, 9, 10, or probably around that time. 10 years before you were born, or probably when your parents were of your age today, at that point of time, the cars used to be quite a boring mechanical stuff, all instrument cluster, what is there in front of behind the steering wheel, used to be pretty much a mechanical, all dials, etc. It was a very kind of a boring look. Then came probably around the time when you guys were born, around that time, I'm talking specifically from an Indian standpoint. At that point of time, we saw a lot more electronics coming into the car. Okay, and the car, that experience of getting inside the car, driving the car becomes a lot more better for all of us, because it looked nicer. Okay, it looks nicer. A lot of the information becomes digital rather than that boring kind of a look what you used to have earlier. Now, as you are getting into the car, it's a lot more software driven. In fact, there are probably the tons of software which are there in the car today than in any of your computers today. Okay, and it's kind of increasing. Now with that, when the car dashboard looks a lot more very different than what it used to be. The cars are connected. So along with AI, there are a lot of other enabling technologies which are also working, and that's where I wanted to go there, is how many of you, raise your hand, have heard the term IoT, Internet of Things? Good to see a couple of hands. So what does Internet of Things does? So car, which is a physical product, okay. Now, can I take the data which is getting generated in the car? Okay, as I am driving, there is a speed at which I am driving. I'm going from GPS location A to B. This is the time I am kind of pressing the brake to stop. This is the time I might be accelerating. So there are a lot of data which is also getting generated. How can I take the data outside and into the cloud. I'm sure all of you understand the cloud, or take into outside the car somewhere and give you some insight of your driving experience. And that's what is the connected vehicle is doing that today. The connected vehicle is, many of the cars today are connected, and you have an app which actually tells you how good or bad you are driving. See, when you drive a car, let's take, it's a petrol car. We all are, Indians are very interested about how much is the fuel economy what we are getting. In fact, couple of years back, there used to be a famous Maruti Suzuki ad, Kitna deti hai? Okay, and they made a kind of a series around it, because that was one of the prime factor on which Indian bought cars. Even today, that's one of the very, key parameters which are there. Now, the fuel economy or the kitna deti hai part of it depends on how you drive the car largely. Not necessarily, one of course is the way the car has been designed, but how you drive the car, how many times you press the accelerator, how many times you brake, and etc., and how you do that. Now, car has all those data points which is there thanks to IoT devices, sensors in the car taking the data into the cloud, and cloud, leveraging the AI technology, is able to give you that insight that what are the things you may do differently while you are driving so that your fuel economy increases. So that's one interesting use case which is already happening. Many of the cars today are already having this kind of a functionality which is part of their car journey and helps them to get a better fuel economy. Similarly, in Delhi, theft of car is something which is an issue. Okay, at times we don't park properly in a parking space, and it may get somebody may kind of break in the car and take the car out. Or sometimes Delhi police becomes very active, or even Gurgaon police becomes very active and tow away the car. Okay, and there is a difference between that. Okay, so if it's a car theft, you probably need to go to a police and figure out how to get the car out. And if it's a tow away, probably you need to go to a different kind of a place and get those challans sorted, etc. Now, can I know? Now, these cars are connected, right? So I am not there in the car. I'm probably sitting somewhere in over here. The car was outside. These of those cases happen. Now, can I, leveraging those data which is coming from IoT in the cloud, can I identify whether it's a case of a theft or is being towed away? AI can help you and does that. AI helps us to identify based on the way the car has moved out, whether it's a case of a theft, break-in and theft, or it has been towed away hopefully by police, and give me that information on my mobile app as an alert saying that, okay, this is what is happening. In case of a break-in, you will have an option probably to immobilize the car. Okay, if you get that information right now, if somebody has break-in and driving away the car, you have an option in your mobile app to immobilize the car. Exactly the same way the IoT and the AI working together to stop the thief to to kind of get your not get your car and run away with that. Now, so this is, I just wanted you to understand some views that how these technologies are really working. So over here, three things are working together, three different technologies. One side, it is the IoT technology, which is helping the data from the machine, which is the car in this case, to constantly keep on getting those data points, get those data through the telecom network. We are getting the data out into a cloud, which might be residing somewhere in let's say in Hyderabad. So in the cloud, I am leveraging the AI as a technology to create the insight out of the pattern of the data what I am getting, and again using the telecom technology and the mobile app is able to capture all those alerts or information which are kind of coming, so that I am aware and I can take an action immediately. So it's a small kind of a view what I wanted to give you, how industry is using this technology for their benefit. Now, moving on to the same subject, in future, in the next 2-3 years, what industry is working on is that, can it help you to give you some more insights? See, in terms of your driving, I mean, I talked about the braking and sudden acceleration and all that, which are not great from a fuel economy standpoint. The other thing which is also not very good is, if I am tired, okay, I'm going for a long drive, and if I am tired, there could be an accident happening, right? If my alertness will go down in India especially, if you are driving, you actually need to be alert all through. So what's also happening now is that they're putting up cameras inside the car, which is able to monitor the eyeball movements. Okay? And based on the eyeball movements, it's able to identify whether I'm tired or I'm alert enough to drive the car. And based on that, it may actually stop that car. Okay? I mean, that's also something which is possible. If not, at least it will start giving you those warning that, boss, it's time you stop the car and take some break. Okay? Have some chai, coffee, whatever, and then you freshen up and then you drive the car again. So it's improving those safety which is there. Again, how all these things are happening, that's where the AI is coming into the play. So I give you an example which all of us can relate easily. Similar stuff is happening inside operation of any organization. Whether it's a shop floor, they are able to look at car, instead of a car, it's a machine. The same thing is possible in case of a manufacturing unit. We are now talking about what we call lights off factories. What is a lights off factory? It's actually, there is no human who is working in the factory, because you need light human to see and work, right? So if there is no human working, you don't need a light, right? So it's a concept which is started, the organizations have started working on. So it's an extreme use of multiple technologies, which is IoT, who is going to interact with the machine to do certain work, the AI who is going to create the insight and feed that data through maybe a robotic arm to the machine and do that particular work over there. So that's the direction on which it is going. Just to talk about it, I mean, not in India, but in US, China, and few other places, many of the Amazon warehouses today, though Amazon works on a hub and spoke model, the way we get the delivery at times that same day delivery happens, because they have a very efficient model of warehousing and the overall supply chain around it. In many countries, many of their warehouses are lights off warehouses. So not a single person who is working there. Your order from your mobile app going to their server is redirecting the information to the warehouse to do this particular packing in certain way and initiate the dispatch process. Now, these are the direction at which the industry is going. Okay. See, one of the very interesting aspect of AI is, see, when we were getting into the technology area, I mean, I started my career in manufacturing, in automotive industry itself, and then moved into the consulting and technology consulting at some point of time. I don't understand coding, very frankly. Okay. That at times was a limitation for me. But having said that, today with AI, the limitation of coding has gone up. Can you raise hands Any of you who have used AI, developed some application on AI? Is there good to see a couple of hands? Thank you. So you understand what I am saying. There are concepts like prompt engineering, as you call it. So there you need to write in English, and the English what we speak or we write otherwise, okay? You need not know any programming language, can develop an AI application today. That's a massive change. That's a massive change which has happened. Now, in fact, there is a, I will put it this way, when in the next 2, 3, 4 years, when you guys go out and get into your career, you will be working with what we call cobots. It's a co-worker which is AI enabled. So what it means essentially, it's the capability of leveraging the technology to do some work efficiently. Something is the skill which is needed. So if you are using AI, it's not that you need to understand coding. I don't know the people who have raised hand, whether they have gone into the coding side of it, but it's not necessary. You need, see, in industry, we do a lot of analysis at times, okay? We get lots of data, and to understand, to make some sense out of the data, we need to do a lot of analysis, etc. Can AI help me? Yes, it is. And we all have been doing it in the industry. Earlier, 5 years back, I used to do the same thing in Excel Solver and all those various other Excel tools, or some application. I used to go and try to get those analysis done. Today, with a click of the button, the various version of those analysis available to me, which actually took me to some bit of time. So it's more time available for me to take the decision based on the data which I'm seeing it. And that's the significant change which is there. So that's how, see, one, I talked about the way the core operation in the industry, whether with an example of a car, but the similar way in the organization is also happening. So organizational workflow, what we call it, is something where AI is coming in to simplify the process, automate the process, make it easier, convenient. The other side of it essentially is how I can leverage the tool, which is AI in this case, to do the work for me more efficiently, so that I spend more time taking a decision based on the insight what I'm kind of getting over here. See, in our life, we always do something and take a decision, whether it's in your life today or in your work life. That's precisely what you'll be doing. You'll be doing some work and understand from there, and then take a decision and then go forward on that. Now, can I automate the first part? Can I do that? Can I help the technology to do the analysis for me, so that I can spend more time on taking the decision, and the decision becomes lot better for me. So that's the right use of technology. So as I have started about during my initial part of my speech, is I should be leveraging AI in your today's life to go deep into a particular subject. Okay, I want to know something, I just type into, let's say, ChatGPT, and I get plethora of information. And then I go on and move forward in terms of what specific answers, what I was looking at, and want to do something about it. So that's the very clear way of using AI to help us to progress further. But having said that, that's the, see, as you, most of you have used ChatGPT, I'm sure you have faced this issue. You have asked for something, not necessarily you got the right answer for that. The answer what you got was you could be looking at that answer, you know that it's wrong. So in industry, what we call is bias. And I'll not go into the journey of AI, but what actually has in the ChatGPT or any version of the AI what you use today is what we call is a large language model, which actually is then pre-trained by somebody with a huge set of data, so that it's doing the thing faster for you. I mean, it's just retrieving that information. It's garbage in, garbage out at the end of the day in computer, right? So as the training has happened, there are biases. Okay, I asked, let's say the tool which I am developing, I fed the data a bit of one-sided data. Okay, I didn't ensure that the holistic data is there. So that's what kind of creates a bias, or the way the model has been developed. I mean, all of us have personal biases. Okay, that also creeps in the model what we develop or the training what we do. It do happen. Okay, and it's a normal cycle of evaluation. But from that standpoint, as a user of AI, you get those biased answers. So one thing is very clear: you can't take an answer or an insight from ChatGPT or any AI tool for that matter as Bible or as something which is by default is correct. You need to evaluate that. You can't be blind about it. That's a very important aspect what I wanted to bring while I have been propagating AI with you as well as a part of my job. But that's a fact what is there. In case of an industry, what we do is that when we go into an AI journey, what we also do is what we call is a process of governance. As a part of the governance, we do ensure there are the results, there's a term called explainability, AI explainability. What it means essentially is that the analysis what is doing, it should be able to give me a step-by-step view of that, so that, I mean, essentially the logic it has used to arrive to that insight, so that I can really look into it and say that whether it's right or wrong. And often there will be issues because, as I said, there are biases which will be there by nature. That process of continuous correction is required. So the models what we develop, as we call it in AI model development, this is not a one-time activity. It's a continuous process. So you need to look at those logic at which it's kind of creating that, and review that audit mechanism is typically a part of an AI journey, which ensures that the organization don't end up getting a wrong answer. Now, an organization can do an audit because that's how they are. It's a large set of people. They have a lot of money, so they can actually have that process very easily, and they must have. But for us, as individual or the people who at the stage where you are and you will be leveraging AI, all I'll say, ensure that you understand what you are getting. Don't be blind about it. It's a good percentage of the information or the insight what you get through AI will be wrong. Certain times you might have seen, I mean, some of you might have created an image out of a ChatGPT or other AI tool. you'll see that it's not absolutely perfect. Okay, there are very clear anomalies which we get in the images. It's the same logic works over there. While creating the images, the logic is not anything different. The same thing when it happens, you ask a different question or a specific science or any other specific question to the ChatGPT. So ensure that you understand what is getting. Dig deep. Don't be blind about it. That's a very important point I'll be saying. This AI is a technology which is evolving. It's not perfect. We are probably at a very early stage of AI now. Okay, and I'm talking as on behalf of the technology fraternity. In fact, I work in IBM, and IBM is one of the pioneer into this AI work. And I'll just talk about that history for you to understand why I'm saying we are seeing a very early stage of AI. See, in probably when I was of your age, which is, as I said, around 35 years back or more, at that point of time, AI was driven through hardware. Many of the professors over here will remember there was a famous chase game between that computer named Watson vis-a-vis Kasparov was the champion at that point of time. He was the Magnum Carlsen of those days at that point of time, and the computer owned. So it was a chase, as you can understand, is a game where a lot of logic, constant logic, which needs to be there, and Kasparov, human, lost over there. Fast forward, it was 2010 or maybe 2015, around that time. There was again, IBM organized this thing. Then we had earlier the computer was Deep Blue. Then I think we had a different, more supercomputer AI enabled was developed. And what we did was that there was a game. I don't know whether any of you have watched a US game called Jeopardy. It's a reverse quiz kind of a model. Okay, so from the answer you come to the question in some sense. So again, it was hardware centric AI, the technology owned. Okay, it kind of competed against, I think, the last 2 years winner of Jeopardy, and the technology once again owned. Couple of years after that, it was a collaborative work between IBM and another AI startup, where we created a debater. Okay, so debate, as you can understand, is a lot more logic, and instantly you need to kind of develop your thought process and deliver it accordingly, deliver it with the right empathy. It's not just talking. You need to connect to the audience also from that standpoint. The debater this time lost. It was against competing with the US winner of that particular year, and the human owned, because he owned unanimously. A debate is not something which it's not a TV debate I'm talking about. It's a proper formal debate, and the scoring of debate happens on. There is no clear winner, right? There is no that I kind of give up or something like that. Everybody puts their point. And depending on how they are putting their point, there are scores which are given by the judges. This time, the human owned unanimously. Okay, technology didn't win in this time. Since then, so this was again 5 years back probably, or just before COVID happened actually. Since then, of course, the technology has moved, but we have not in a place where it has matured to that level that it can really replace human. See, one of the questions what all of us kind of grapple with as individual as well as a part of the society, whether AI is going to replace us in our work. The way I'll kind of address that is very clearly, see, AI is not your competition. Your competition is very clearly the person who is leveraging AI in a better way. And that is the differentiation which is going to happen tomorrow. AI is not going to take your job. The person who is going to take your job is the one who is leveraging AI while doing the job. Same thing is applied in your life today. The person, I mean, all of us will be attending the classes. All of us will be hearing the professors, I'm sure, very, very diligently. All of us will be reading your books, which is prescribed by the professors. But having said that, there will be people who will be able to do a better research leveraging AI, will create a much better view, much more holistic view of that particular subject or what you have been studying over here. So that's something which I'll say, be clear about that. It's not your competition. It's your co-pilot in your journey. Whether you get into in your student life and at a later point of time, some of you may get into the research or get into the academic field. It will help you to gain more knowledge. It will help you to understand things in a much better way. For you, whoever is getting into the career, whether it's technology career or the career in other field, the business side of it, it's how you leverage AI. Let me bring you back to I'm sure a lot of you will want to get into the technology side of it, okay? I mean, want to develop applications, develop solutions, develop software, etc. I'm sure many of you would love to kind of go there. Now today, in fact, I mean, it's there in all in the newspapers, etc. We get a very different view that AI is taking over coding, it's all over, etc. It's not that way. It is again how you leverage AI to do the coding in a better way or a lot faster way. How I test my code immediately, get those answers that whether I have written my code in a correct way or not. How I link, there was a requirement which was there, there's a problem statement which is there, which I'm trying to solve through that coding. How do I ensure that the traceability from the requirement to my coding is there? Leveraging AI, you do it smartly. So in a way, what we are looking at, whether it's coding or in manufacturing or in a financial service setup, I'm talking from an industry standpoint, we are talking about crashing down the time. I started off talking about cars. Typically, designing a new car today takes around 3 to 4 years. That's the typical timeline what you will be needing for developing a new car. Today with AI, exactly the similar way. I think some of you want to move out. Oh, no, not an issue. How much time do we have? 2 minutes? Okay. So I think some of you have classes. I'll also quickly sum it up. I think the main point is very clearly, AI is your Sathi, but at the same time, you are the owner of your action. It's not that AI tells me something which I need to be doing the same thing. The third, you need to have the right guardrail, because cybersecurity, with so much of digital footprint, cybersecurity becomes an issue. So you need to have the right guardrail for you. AI clearly is not replacing you. AI, so it's you who is there, and from that standpoint, a couple of key skill is something which you need to be very, you need to focus on developing that. And I'll be talking about maybe 3 or 4 skills which I believe are something which is essential for people of your generation to get into career. A, critical thinking. That's what makes or break. Digital literacy, I believe all of you over here are quite digital literate, but having said that, the technology is evolving, so you need to keep abreast on that. Emotional intelligence. We might be very great in understanding what we do or what we specialize in, but you do it in a larger setup. The emotional quotient is something which is very critical, and not all of us are very good in that. Ensure that use this time in your college to develop that particular skill. And the last one is adaptability. It's constantly changing, so you need to also constantly change. So with that, I'll end the session today. Best wishes for all your going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bhattacharya, for that truly insightful and thought-provoking session. You have so clearly and thoughtfully guided us on how to navigate this powerful new world of AI, ensuring we use these tools with integrity and foresight. Your wisdom today has given us all a clearer path forward. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we will be having a group photograph, sir.